All right, my name is Matt Davis. I'm a member of the sales engineering team at Core. Happy to serve as the caboose to this train of presentations. We're going to spend, what I want to do is give just a couple of slides to give some background and some context to who we are at Core and what our capabilities are, what we bring to the marketplace. So Core is a network service provider that we focus specifically on delivering wireless connectivity to the IoT and M2M marketplace. So we have 12 carrier relationships, 10 cellular and 2 in the satellite field. We're ready to deploy for our customers and our customer base, and I'll talk about this in the next slide, but typically we have people that are either at the ASP level, the solution provider level, that they have some kind of wireless concept for the marketplace, or we have the enterprise that are taking the M2M or IoT application and bringing it in-house to serve their own purposes. And we provide for that connectivity to connect that device that's out in the field with the back-end application and give that connectivity link. We have customers today that are in over 110 countries around the world, and we're supporting over 3.5 million active devices on the Core network today. As I mentioned before, a lot of different vertical markets that we're in. Core has been in business since 2003, and I have been part of the team since 2008. So during that time, we've been able to see customers come across a variety of different vertical markets for us, whether it's healthcare or vehicle tracking or utilities and smart metering applications. There's just a wide range of where Core has been engaged. And what we have seen over the years is that there's 5 key areas where customers need to find success in order to deploy a successful M2M application. And so those are, in no particular order, coverage. Well, coverage is most important, I would say. You need to be able to have that network connectivity where you're going to deploy, but also talk about a relevant price point strategy, give you a platform that's able to scale and grow with the number of devices that you need to deploy to the field. We want to be able to give you control of your devices and activating and deactivating as you need. And we want to make it easy for you to be able to embrace your M2M IoT application. So we have coverage through those 12 different operator partners around the world. As you see on our coverage map here, relationships with the key players, both here in North America and globally. And not only are we're providing the core SIM and airtime services on a monthly basis to our customers, we're also providing for a back-end network infrastructure as well, where we'll have multiple connections into data centers with our network partners, multiple data centers, both here in North America, in Australia, and globally. And customers are able to provide and gather a managed network service from Core where we can provide VPN connectivity into our data centers, and say something happens with the Atlanta data center, we're able to fail over and provide for a redundant connection to our secondary facility here in Las Vegas and provide for no interruption of service for those devices in the field. And then finally, what I want to show you today and give you this demo of Prism Pro. Prism Pro is our management platform for devices that are on our networks. Our goal is to give you, the customer, one single interface to be able to manage all of your devices around the world, no matter what network they're on. So we'll provide that, and let me go ahead and get into Prism Pro and give you a live look into our site. What we'll look at here in the next 10 to 12 minutes is a demonstration account that we have set up. We've called it Smart Wireless for you. And so we'll be able to see some real-time devices that we have loaded into Prism Pro, consuming data today on our different network partners. So to give you a quick look into our home screen, our goal is to give you quick, at-a-glance information about the devices that are on the network and any anomalies or any spikes that you might want to take a look at. So for this particular account, for an example, we're typically using under 250 megabytes of data each day. But I can see on the 13th we had a spike in data activity. And so for some customers, this may be a completely normal line graph. But for others, it could be something that they need to take a look at and dig into more detail about device usage, device consumption on the network. And we can deliver that here in Prism Pro. You're also able to look at quick things like total number of devices that are on the network, whether they're in active state or a stock inventory state on the network, and so on. And as I scroll through this page, it shows me the different states on the network, really the numbers that correspond with what we see in the line graph. We'll spend a few more minutes on threshold violating, and that is a tool that we have within Prism Pro. I think it's important to our customers, but you can see here in the home page we have a quick dashboard that shows customers maybe devices that might be consuming more data than is expected. So, for example, this particular device is showing up as about 900 megabytes over what was expected. Now, the threshold that was set up for it was 1 kilobyte of consumption for the month, so that might be a poor value that was placed in there. But the concept behind it is whenever a device crosses a value, whether that's set up for a daily threshold or a month-to-date threshold, we can be proactive and we can send out alerts to customers to advise them that a device might be behaving in a rogue or a runaway state. Clicking through the SIM number, this shows me something throughout the site, all the different network operators that we work with, a device details page that I can look at and show me all the details for this particular site, this particular SIM, the phone number associated with it, how is it provisioned on a data plan, and any relevant information that the customer has loaded into Prism Pro. We'll provide for 6 free-form fields in the database that customers can use however they see fit, if it's for identifying a device manufacturer, make and model, maybe it's for a truck driver for an AVL application, whatever the case may be, we'll provide for these 6 fields that can be used either at the point of activation, at the point that the SIM card was ordered, or really at any point down the road, the customer is able to come in and update that information. And as we provide for monthly billing and reporting tools, all of that information appears in our supporting reports. But as I scroll down through this screen, I'm able to see all the different features that are associated with this particular device. I can see that it's enabled for SMS messaging, both at the mobile originate and the mobile terminate level, and that international roaming is enabled for that particular device. So that's our device details page. Back up a couple screens back to the home page. And as I finish out that screen, basically what you see here is just the total number of alarms and threshold alerts that may have gone out during the billing period, and then the total number of plans that are in use on a given account. So one thing to note when we're talking about Prism Pro as a portal and a SIM management platform, customers can come in through the web and get a set of user credentials and password and come handle everything into the website, but we do have an API that's available as well. So if you'd like for your applications to be able to programmatically submit activation requests or deactivation requests or update device information, all of that can be done through the API as well. All right. So let's work through the life cycle of a subscription for a moment. The first thing that a customer would need to do is to order SIMs. We need to be able to get something in inventory to be able to work with that and move into an activation process. So a customer moves into a quick workflow like this. We're able to select what service type that we're talking about. A given customer is only going to see those network partners that they have set up a core agreement for. So the view might look exactly like this. But let's say, for an example, we want to choose our Core US Gold SIM, one of our North American partners. We can make a choice around the form factor for the SIM card. Some of our customers, probably most of our customers, are still ordering the standard 2FF form factor. But as time goes by and we see smaller form factors become more popular, they can identify those. Either a micro, nano, or even an onboard solderable SIM can be provided here in this process. I can spell out what's my quantity of SIMs I'd like to order. If there is a purchase number that needs to be referenced on our invoices, we can certainly gather that. It is not a required field from us. And we'll either ship to the addresses that we have on file, but if there's ever a need for us to drop ship out into an installer in the field or a customer location out in market, we can certainly do that and gather that here. So as I submit a stock order, a couple of emails would go out, one acknowledging that the order has been received, and a second providing a list of SIMs and a tracking number that goes along with it. And we're typically shipping out SIM orders every day and the day that we receive the request. So once a SIM order has been fulfilled, the next thing a customer would want to work through is the activation process. And so I'll show you 2 workflows for activating a device. One is a manual process where customers can go through, identify every feature they need to have provisioned, manipulate and make changes to all of our threshold monitoring tools, and then also set rate plans and all the commercial impacts that go along with that. But then we also have, and I'll show that to you, an express activation profile where we can streamline the process, cut down on the number of keystrokes or mouse clicks, and get to the activation in a quicker fashion. So when I work through a process like this, I'm either going to select from a list of everything that's available. I can upload a file. If we have a bulk upload that needs to take place and the customer has a text file with 10,000 SIM numbers, we can pull that in and work through the activation. Or on the other side of the spectrum, if we need to seek out and search for an individual device, we can do that as well. For our demo, I'll show you the list of what's available. And this shows me everything eligible on my account to be activated. So let me just select a couple of these devices and move to my next screen. What we'll see here is a list of all the different features, everything that a device could be provisioned with on the core network. As that rolls through. There we go. Again, your mileage may vary on this in that you won't see every possible feature. Customers will only see what's relevant for them. But let's say, for an example, I know that I need data services, I need a dynamic IP for my application, messaging, and international roaming. I can make those choices and then move into a screen where I'm manipulating those thresholds alerts. So let's say I want to know if a device uses over 100 kilobytes of consumption in a day or close to 3 megabytes of data in a month. I can set those values, do the same thing on the voice and the SMS side of things, and then select a rate plan for my particular device. Let's say in this scenario I'd like to have a 5 megabyte plan. I can make that choice and move into my confirmation screen. So this shows me everything that I had selected for my given device and just gives me one more check before this goes out into the wild and is able to connect to the network. And so I said I would show you one other option and show you how that streamlines the process for us. Let's say that I select the same SIM type, and for express activation profiles, I'd set one up for today. So we'll use that, go through the same process of selecting a device, and as I click on proceed, it will take a look and look at all those parameters, all those features that were included in the profile, and take me straight to the confirmation screen. So it cuts down on the risk for human error, cuts down on the amount of time it takes me to get to an active device on the network. And with the last couple of minutes that I have, what I want to show you is our threshold monitoring tool. So this is a tool within Prism Pro to allow customers to keep track of how their devices are behaving on the network. Many of our customers are using relatively small amounts of data, whether it's a 1 megabyte plan, a 35 kilobyte plan, or a gigabyte plan. At the end of the day, they want to understand how those devices are behaving on the network. So what we do is as we pull in all of the call detail records from our carrier partners every day, we run that against a parsing engine, essentially, that looks at the consumption, looks at the thresholds that were set up, and then alert customers as those thresholds may be crossed. So I can filter this view, and I can look at my current billing period, apply that filter, and then sort my month-to-date data and be able to see what are my high-consuming devices on the network and rack that from most consumption to the least amount of consumption on the network. And to wrap things up, show you some of the other features within the site. We do have billing and reporting, everything that supports the invoicing each month. Customers can get access to that and analyze it on their own time. Engaging with core support is all handled within Prism Pro. Certainly we have a 1-800 number to call. We have account managers to escalate with. But if I can get the best practice with customers to come to Prism first, that gives us a timestamp and gives us the ability to track to the shortest time to resolve a problem. And then our coverage mapping tool, this is something that we have built within Prism Pro as well, so that customers can, before they send a device out into the field, be able to see what should coverage look like at a given location. So we'll have that for all the different network partners that we have, many of them. And for those network operators, we have varying levels of price depending on what kind of zones or coverage areas they may be in. We have that built into Prism Pro as well. So if we want to see only my lowest priced operators, I can set that filter and see that value within the site. So with that, there's a lot more in Prism Pro. Typically, I can give a talk for an hour and a half on this, but glad to show you the highlight reel in 15 minutes on it. And with Core, really our goal in those 5 pillars for us is to be easy to do business with. And so we hope you'll come see us at booth 613 during the week. We'll have our team here, and we'll talk about that 5th pillar of pricing and flexibility too on that too, if you have the need for it. But I appreciate your time. Thank you.